And that's why me and Chuck got along so well on the field, is because I played receiver and I knew where I needed to be for him. Me and Chuck never talked. Never, ever. And people were like, that's crazy, yo. I even told him that the past week. I said, Chuck, we never talked. But on the field, I said, we were good. I said, I don't know how we had this weird connection. And then he says to me, he's laughing. Ah, yeah, I know. Because Coach Fry said, hey, Chuck, you get in trouble, just throw it up to Ronnie. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. Are you serious? He's laughing. And I'm getting hot. I didn't say anything. I was just starting to burn up. Like, I said, are you serious, Chuck? He's like, yes. I was so upset. Because I was like, what the? Just throw it up? I was like, Chuck, that sucks. Coach Fry told me to do it. He said, you didn't know that, did you? I was like, no. He was like, yes. He said, anytime I get in trouble, just run around and you see Ronnie, just throw it up. We'll have a shot. So it was just like a weird thing going on where Coach Fry had me, and I couldn't help myself to not go get it or try to get open as I can because I knew I was never going to get it again. I was like, Chuck, that sucked. He's like, no, I'm sorry, but that's what we did.
Welcome to the Gallery and Hurley Unfiltered podcast, Iowa Football Rewind.
Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast player to get a behind-the-scenes look that you won't find anywhere else.
All right, tonight we are super excited to have former running back and wide receiver Ronnie Harmon, 1982 to 1985. Welcome to the show, sir.
What's up, teammates?
Yeah. Great meeting
Yeah,
you last weekend.
Yeah, great meeting you. Yeah, it was really fun. Had a great time at Iowa City at the Indiana game.
Good deal.
And you
Take
said
us-
you hadn't been back there for a while.
Like 30 plus years.
30 years. Wow.
Yeah. It was good seeing the younger generation and the older generation. I guess I'm in the middle generation. So the guys that were older than me could still boss me around. And the guys younger than me, I had a little clout over them, but not much. So it was good. Yeah.
It was funny to hear Marv Cook talk about, I think he was younger than you. He was like,
Yeah.
oh, he was a legend. He was like, I was in awe around him. He was one of those guys you were talking about that you would be able to tell him what to do. I think it's funny to hear that.
The thing is, I never really talked to the younger guys when I was there. So I don't know why they thought that. It was funny hearing them talk about me in front of me because I was like, I've never acted like that. So I don't, why are they talking like that? It just threw me off because I wasn't the vocal person. Some guys would come by and say things to me. I know you don't remember what you said to me, but you said this to me and it helped me out a lot. And I was like, I don't remember that. Are you sure it was me? It's like, it was you. I said, oh, okay. Because I don't know how that worked out because I never really spoke to people. But I guess when I saw somebody having a hard time, I would go over to them and say something. I guess that's what they're saying, but I don't remember it at all.
Wow.
So
When you did speak, it was meaningful. Yeah.
I felt like I was in the same boat, just in a different way, but we was all in the same boat. So for me to go over and say, don't worry about it. I know how you feeling because I'm going through the same thing. And then thinking that you're not because maybe you're not having the same kind of issues they're having. And I always want to tell them that no, I get the same thing. So don't worry about it. I know you feel bad right now, but it's not that big of a deal. Don't worry. You'll be fine.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say something like that. Yeah, that's cool.
It's good to hear those things too, right? It's good to hear that you've impacted people in a positive way, right? It's great. It's your teammates. It's guys you played a really intense game with, right? That's got to feel good to hear that and to know you were, if anything, a quiet leader.
The leader thing, I never was. I just wanted to be a good teammate. It was more important for me to be a teammate than a leader. I think being a leader is overblown because you can be a leader and not a teammate. So a leader could be out there looking out for themselves and trying to lead them their way. But being a teammate is that we're all in the same situation. So we can all get through this together, especially when you might be the older guy or the middle guy. If we can find a way to work it out, then it helps all of us. It just doesn't help one person, it just helps all of us get in that same direction on the same boat. You try to pick up where somebody's a little down, and that's it. It's simple. Keep it simple, right?
Kiss,
We
yeah.
all know it now.
Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just about simple things.
So the majority of people had you not talked to since you left school, or had you kept in touch with some of the guys?
I haven't talked to them since I left. So most of everybody that I saw is about 40 years later. I never spoken to them. We didn't have the computers. We still had telephone lines. So once you left school, it's hard to stay in touch with people. And that's when cell phones were just starting to come out before they had the beepers, right? The little beepers.
The sidekicks? You probably had a sidekick too, didn't you? A little flip thing.
So now I think people can stay in touch real quick. You never lose touch with people now. I wish we had this when I was playing because I think we'd have been much closer.
We have a friend of ours who was there this last weekend, and someone said, Todd McManus said to say hi. And I was like, I don't know who that is. They're like, Todd. And I was like, no, you're like, Bubba. And I was like, oh, Bubba's real name is Todd. And I was like, holy shit. 35 years. I thought the guy's name was Bubba. I didn't know his real name. So.
It's hard to find people's government name.
Take us back to growing up in Queens, like when the whole thing started. What was that like?
Oh my gosh. I started playing Little League football at 6. So I've been playing tackle football since I was 6 years old.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know if they do that anymore. I don't think they have Little League tackle because I asked someone, they were like, no, you got to be a certain age now. Some states still do it, but back in the day, it was a big deal.
Going away, I think.
I grew up playing all the sports, but in New York, it's hard to play two sports because it overlaps. If you're not 6'5" and got a nice crossover, you can't play basketball. It's just not going to happen. If you 6'2", then you better be able to jump out the gym because the quality of basketball in New York is just ridiculous. Everybody plays it. Not everybody plays football, but basketball is a thing in New York. So football was like second rate. So playing football was just something that I had a passion for. I don't know why, but I didn't want to play basketball. I could play baseball, but I didn't want to. I was pretty good at both of them, but it was something about contact and being vicious and seeing the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's why I went to Iowa, because of the colors.
Nice. It's a little foreshadowing there then. That's great.
Yeah. Growing up, I just played football. I just knew from that day that I wanted to play, not professional. I just wanted to play football. I never concerned myself about that. I just wanted to play football. That was it.
Never dreamt that you would play 12 years in the NFL then starting out.
No. I would get a scholarship. I wrote to a bunch of schools. Back in the day, you had to write letters.
Yeah.
You would sit down and go to a book that had all the schools' address in it, flip through it, and then you would write, my name is such and such. I'm interested in coming to your school, and I could send you some film if you want, and then you would send it off in the mail. So I wrote out a lot of letters and sent them all out, and that's how I started getting recruited.
What schools were you interested in at that point?
I didn't have a keen knowledge on any colleges. I just went down a list of schools that you see on television. Miami, Penn State, Ohio State, usually East Coast. I knew I wasn't going out to California, but all the East Coast schools you would see from the Midwest to the East Coast. We mostly saw Penn State, Ohio State, Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, because Dan Marino was there, so they put him on television a lot.
They were good then.
Tony Dorsett was there, so they had him on a lot. Those schools on the East Coast, Syracuse, growing up in Queens was just you never thought about a scholarship. You never really had a concept of what the scholarship was about because a lot of people didn't go on scholarship for football. Now for basketball, it was a different story. You knew those kids was going away on scholarship because they were that good. So you never thought of yourself as that good compared to basketball. It was football in the city. Maybe if you lived out on Long Island, you had a better chance because New York City football is totally different than Long Island football. In Long Island, you have more money. The facilities are better. And the city is just straight up compact. Everything is tight. And we only played on Saturday mornings. We never played Friday night games. That was new to me when I came out to Iowa that high schools play on Friday night. We always play Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. So to come out here and see Friday, that's where I started to understand, oh, that what Friday night means. Friday night football. I never understood that because I went to one out, I think it was Iowa City High. I went to one of their games on Friday night and it was crowded. I could not believe it was a high school game. I was like, oh my God, this is a stadium. No, we didn't have that. It was different growing up. You didn't know any better. You just knew what you had, and that was cool. Yeah.
Did you have any of your friends or people you knew that went on to play big time basketball? Any names we know?
Mark Jackson, Stephon Marbury, Rod Strickland. All the point guards that y'all know of that from New York City was in the same
Yeah.
time. Might be 1 year younger, might be 1 year older, but we all came out at the same time in basketball. If you was a football player, you hung out differently than if you was a basketball player, which you was a celebrity in New York. High school basketball played on Friday nights. They were, it was about that. So yeah, there was a lot of guys that went pro in basketball, definitely. In my era, that went pro. But yeah. I never
Yeah,
got to beat them though, because we were so separate. And the high schools is hard to get to. If you live in Brooklyn, it's real hard to get to Brooklyn if I live in Queens. Meaning hard means that you got to take a bus, a train. You're not doing that. Not at 17. You're like, nah, I'll stay in Queens. So it's like a different country.
you don't do that when you're 35 either. It's
Uh,
100 miles away if you're in the city and someone's over in Brooklyn for sure.
yeah, yeah, I'm like, nah, I'm not going out there. So I still do that today. I don't go to Brooklyn or Bronx. I just don't go. I don't know why, but I was just a regular guy like everybody else.
And you have two brothers, correct?
I have
At least two brothers, I think.
four. I have
You have four.
four,
Yeah.
and we're all a year apart. I had an older brother that went to the University of Cornell. He went to San Francisco. He played at San Francisco. And my younger brother, Kevin, that all of y'all know about, he
Yeah.
went to
Yeah.
Seattle. So we all played in the league, but only me and Kevin played in the league at the same time. My older brother, he left. As a matter of fact, he has a Super Bowl ring with the 49ers.
Whoa.
That's when they played Miami in the Super Bowl, 49ers against Miami. And that was Dan Marino's first time going to the Super Bowl. They played at the Rose Bowl.
What position do you play to?
He played
He's like,
no, he played running back. We all played running back. So, yeah.
were you guys super competitive when you were young between each other or not really?
We all did our own thing. You had your own friends. Our friends didn't overlap. I'm not hanging out with your friends. You're not hanging out with my friends. So we never really saw each other after school because we went our separate ways with your own friends. But we never played on a team together. They would never let us play on a team together. So if we're playing Little League, they did not want two of us on the same team because we did play well together. We never spoke to each other, but we could play good together. They never let us on the same team ever. We were good
Um,
together. I got to say that we were really good together as brothers on teams. We never spoke to each other on the team, but we just played well together.
yeah. Talk to us about when you started getting recruited. I'm guessing Bernie Wyatt probably was the one that connected with you.
Yeah, he just came up to the high school. I didn't know where Iowa was or what Iowa. I didn't know anything about Iowa. He just walked in. He had his Iowa stuff on, going recruiters, and he just sat down and started talking. That was basically it. I was getting recruited by other schools in the Big Ten, so I didn't really make much of it because he was just like any other recruiter. And not to say that in a dismissive way, but it was more overwhelming because they were just recruiters. I didn't know who Bernie was. Not that I should because he's coming all the way from Iowa and he's walking in. He has his stuff on just like anyone else was walking in. And just to have recruiters come to the school was awesome. My older brothers didn't get recruited. We never had recruiters come to our high school. I was the first one to actually have recruiters come into the high school. to have that. It was offsetting because you're not really sure what's happening. It's happening, but you're not really sure it's happening. You're like, are you one of them guys that you hear about that are getting recruited? It never sinks in. At least for me, it never sunk in. I was always, I don't believe it. I never believed anything. I was that nervous guy. It might look like gold, but is it really?
It's a lot to process at that age too, though, right? You're hoping things happen. It's a big opportunity. It's a lot coming at you. You're trying to finish high school, trying to figure out what's next steps. I think I'm still curious if it happened to me even playing. I'm like, did that really happen? Did I live that life 25 years ago? Yeah.
You say, wow, I wish I knew what I know now. Back then, I might have been a better, it might have been helpful of understanding of what you really want to do. Because when you have schools, and I'm not saying that I was better than anyone else, I was just lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. And yeah, sometimes you got to put yourself in that position, but you got to be a little lucky too. I never took that for granted. And that's why I never did interviews. I always thought about how can you talk about yourself when you know that you got to be a little lucky to be in this situation? So you just need to take advantage of the advantage that you got right now. It's not about how many interviews you give or what you say about yourself. It's about the game and what you're trying to do. So that's why I stayed away from early age. I stayed away from it. I never got into it. They can talk good about you, but ooh, you do one thing and you will get your heart crushed. And it happened to a lot of guys. Could not recover from what people said about them because they thought, I'm well liked. They're writing nice about me. And then you don't even do anything bad. It's just the game of football. Everything doesn't go your way. So how can they talk like that when it's not, it's just football? The other guys on the other side are good too. Without them, we don't have a game. So you got to give them credit that they're just as good as you are. And whoever's day it is, you got to take it. Like we say, take it good.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? I think people see football players as invincible, right? Or athletes in general, that they can do and say anything they want to them and realize that there's people underneath it, right? There's people with families and
Yeah.
people have feelings and are trying to do really well, and it doesn't always work out. I think it's an interesting thing. I watched my brother play for the Raiders, right? And people
Yeah.
would just eviscerate him during the games, screaming stuff and saying some really horrible shit. It was just like,
Right.
why is it like this? And then they'd come up after the game and be like, oh, sign this. Here's my kid. Sign, do this. You're just like, it's this real disconnect of, I think, what that effect that has on people, at least. And yeah, if somebody writes you something in the paper, it's, oh man, everybody sees this. I saw that everybody watches this game. It was really hard for me to mess up on that big of a scale and to be like, okay, everyone in the whole world just saw that mistake or saw whatever it was that happened, especially if you're shy. I think Brian and I are both that kind of guy that we're just not comfortable being in front of the camera and doing interviews.
That's why we're doing a podcast.
We get it over with. Yeah.
Finally.
It just took us till 50 to break out of our shell. Exactly. I think it's a hard thing, especially being that age. And there guys are kids that we watched this weekend. They were 18, 22 years old. They're going to go to class and got their lives to figure out and where they're going and what they're doing. So yeah, it's a lot to ask, I think. Let's go into what other schools you were looking at. Did you take visits?
Yes, I went to Ohio State and it was huge. So I was like, I'm not from Ohio, so I know I'm not going to get a chance to play here. Okay. I'm not an Ohio guy. I got that. So even though we had a lot of city kids that went to Ohio State that did really well, like John Brockingham, he's from Brooklyn, and he went to Ohio State, and then he went on to play for the Green Bay Packers. So they have a history of taking city kids and actually playing them. Michigan State was huge too. It was just a big campus. It was really big. So I'm not a Michigan guy either. I just understood that they're going to want to play their own. Even at Iowa, I was that way, but Iowa City was much smaller than those other schools. I didn't want to go to Syracuse because all the city kids went up to Syracuse. It would have been just like going back to high school. So most of everyone went up to Syracuse. Arizona was, I just took the trip because I had never been up to California on the West Coast in high school. It was a long trip, and I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. Your first time flying, and you fly across the country. That was my first flight ever. So I was like, oh, God, no, I can't do this. So I went out to Iowa. They had me with the colors. So it was almost a done deal. I didn't really care about where it was. All I knew is that they had the Pittsburgh Steelers colors. And I was just like, I'm done. I took the other trips, but they didn't have the Pittsburgh Steelers colors. So I was like, it's not going to work. I'm going Pittsburgh Steelers. It was almost a done deal, especially when I saw it in person. I was like, oh my gosh, this is Pittsburgh, black and gold. I was hooked. And I knew in my mind, but it was a battle because Syracuse came in strong. And I think I said I was going to go to Syracuse. What they did was they said, okay, we're recruiting you for DB for Syracuse. And I was like, no, I don't want to play DB. Iowa said, we're recruiting you for running back. I said, forget it, I'm not going to Syracuse. The guy did was so pissed off. He was like, you can play running back. I was like, no, I'm going to Iowa. They said I can play running back there. So that was the big, it's always one thing that flips you from one school to the other. And that was it for me. So I said, no, I'm not going to Syracuse. So I went to Iowa with the colors that I truly enjoyed.
I wasn't highly recruited, so I didn't have to worry about this, but it's interesting how upset the coaches would get with the kids that wouldn't go to their schools. And so that probably seals the deal of like, all right, if you're going to be that way about it, then I made the right choice to a certain degree.
Yeah, these are adults getting upset over a 17-year-old that has no idea about recruiting and what's really going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it, so it didn't bother me one way or the other because I didn't know enough about being in that situation to understand exactly what the situation was. I'm 17. I don't know what all this stuff is going on. They fly you out. It was just too overwhelming, so I just kept it simple. I just like the colors. I don't care. Because it felt like all the schools were the same. You playing football, you playing them in different colors, so you need to pick which colors you like. I did like Ohio State's colors, but I was like, nah, Pittsburgh wins all the time for me.
That was a smart move by Coach Fried.
He said he did that intentionally.
Yep.
I wanted winners, so I modeled it after winners. I was like, man, he is so smart.
I heard he had connections to Mean Joe Green through North Texas or something like that. And that's how he connected up with the Steelers and got their approval. But yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
He was a smart man,
Yeah.
smart businessman too. Now that I think about it, I wish I would have listened to him a lot more. I couldn't understand him because he was so far advanced. He was saying stuff that he's 17, you're like, whatever. What? What did he just say? I have no idea what he's talking about. Now I can repeat everything he says. I remember it just like that. I can't remember a football game, but I can remember what he said at meetings, all his sayings, and I can remember that, but I can't remember nothing from football games ever. Remember him talking. Weird.
Yeah, he says some funny stuff, and you're like, I don't know what you just meant by that.
We're still trying to translate on these podcasts. What did that mean?
All I used to hear was the crackle of the boots. He's in the building. You can hear the boots cracking through the walk. You're like, oh gosh, Coach Fry's here. He's walking through. Like, okay,
Yeah.
meeting's about to start. So yeah, I'll be like trying to.
So take us so you sign up to Iowa. Take us through your first year and transition from growing up in New York to your freshman year in Iowa City.
It was all new, so it wasn't as bad as people thought because I was there for a reason. I was there to play football. I wasn't there to really socialize. So it didn't bother me that I was in a place that I didn't know very much about. I wasn't adventurous, so I wasn't going off campus. I didn't have a car. Once I figured out I was there for a purpose, it didn't matter where I was. If you wanted to go there for a different reason, then fine, choose a different school. But it didn't bother me in the least. It was just different. It's not going to be New York. You know, if I go to Brooklyn, it's not going to be Queens. So you act totally different when you're in Brooklyn than when you're in Queens. So I was already used to adjusting my attitude accordingly to where I was. So it didn't bother me. I just understood where I was and what I was here to do. I never really got homesick because I was there for a purpose. As long as I had that purpose in my mind, I could deal with anything. It didn't matter. And sometimes I can play a negative on you too, because you think you're doing something and you're not supposed to be doing it, and then it'll just mess you up. It almost messed me up playing receiver. I wasn't prepared for that.
So this year you came in 82 and you played right
Yeah,
away, and that's when they switched you right away to receiver.
I'm 61. I wish I had a chance to talk to Coach Fry about that to see what was the real deal because I never understood it. And I understand it now because I'm older. And if I was a coach, I probably would have did the same thing. Yeah, no. Because if you're on a team, then you have to do team-oriented things, even though it doesn't feel good to you, it's good for the team. And that's another reason why I never interviewed, because if we're on a team, then how can I talk about myself? It just didn't sit right with me. They never talk to the linemen. They always want to interview the receivers, quarterbacks, sometimes tight ends now. Once in a while, linebackers, if they're fast, right? But not the hole pluggers. They never interview them. The guys that are coming up there just plugging a hole up. They're looking at the outside linebackers, DEs, right? You very rarely see them interview a nose tackle. So it's the shining ball, those spotlight positions that they want to interview. And it never really sat well with me. So I said I would never do that. I would never interview unless they interviewed a lineman first. And if I never saw you interview the lineman, I would never talk to you. I'd be like, no, I'm not doing it. So that's another. I had a bunch of reasons why I never interviewed. I had it all in my mind, right? I had all these rules and regulations in my mind to say what I wouldn't do.
Looking back, I didn't give shout outs to guys on our team helping out, the snappers, the holders. I was so in my own head. And now I look back and gosh, I was dumb. I was like so immature. We're young kids. Like you don't understand those dynamics. So to me, to hear that, it's wow, you're seeing the big picture. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's why people thought I was standoffish. Not my teammates. We were cool. They used to tease me about not giving interviews. They were like, "Oh my gosh, you're not gonna talk today." I'm like, "No, I'm not talking." I said, "If they interview you, I'll talk." So anytime they interview a lineman, I said, "Okay, I'll talk today." If you interview a lineman, they would never go over to
Yeah, they
him
wouldn't. Oh,
because they have no idea what to ask them. They always have these same questions as they ask the skill positions. You're a leader. But they have these same questions that they ask every skill position all the time. If you go back in time, it's the same question. Different person asking it, of course. And they never interview linemen on both sides. D line, unless you're a DE. That is a shiny position.
Yeah.
They're going to interview the DE, but not the interior line. No, it's not happening. So that was my thing to say, no, I'm not doing it. And Coach Ryan never pressed me to interview anyway. He didn't really like guys interviewing because he thought we was just too young, and these guys were sophisticated enough to ask us questions that were trying to pull us a certain way, and he didn't like that. So he didn't let media interview us. So I was happy about that. So that you didn't have to worry about it. He said you could only interview the coaches. So most kids didn't get interviewed.
I think the media was so limited back then too that if you did say something a little off color or inflammatory, then it got really blown out of proportion. Now it's like there's
Yeah.
so much around that it kind of gets lost in the rest of it, right?
It was only certain places that journalists could go to interview. It wasn't online. Either you had to show up at the facility or after the game. After that, you had no contact with the kids. Now they got 24-hour contact. They can send you an email, text, anything. They can get to you quickly. So back in the day, they couldn't. And that's right. Like you said, it made it very limited. If you said something, you might not get back in the room. Coach Fry would not let you back in. He would talk to you about it. And he was like, hey, listen, I see this again. You will not come back in here. He never wanted negative. He didn't mind you writing about the game, but he did not like you thrashing kids, 17, 18, and 19-year-olds. And you got these adults actually destroying kids. No matter how big you are, still 19 years old. They confuse the size of these guys with the age. They think these are men. Then they're 17. I always tell people, I said, you don't know that 17 and 18. I know he's 6'5", 320, but he's 18. And they're beating him up. Emotionally, they're done. They're not ready for that. So Now I'm looking back, I'm like, I would never let the kids interview. I'd be like, no, you're too young to do that. But it doesn't matter if they can get to them. They can bypass you, send you a text, write you an email. It's your personal account. They can do whatever they want.
Did you like playing receiver, or did you want to play receiver? Or was
No,
that kind
I
of
did not.
no?
Hated it. Absolutely hated it. It was like a horror show to me, happening every day. I hated it. Oh my gosh, did I hate it?
You did pretty well for hitting it.
That was the hard part. So I'm thinking to myself, what's going to happen if I play well at receiver? Are they going to let me out? Will I be able to play running back? Or are they going to keep me there? Because they don't know you're a good receiver. No, you're staying. This was truly, I was stuck in a catch 22. You play really well, you might not get out. You play really bad, there was no win situation for me. I felt in my mind there was no way out of it because I couldn't stop myself from not trying to play good. You're on the field, you don't think about, oh, the ball is coming in there, you're a receiver, I don't want to catch that. Now you want to catch everything because you like, fine then. I'm not going to drop nothing. Fine. I'm going to make this real hard on you now. Now I said to myself, I'm going to try to play as good as the receivers. So it was a challenge to say, I'm going to be better than the receivers because I'm not a receiver. I'm a running back. In my mind, I'm thinking that. So I said, okay, let's see. I'm not a receiver, but I'm not going to drop anything. Who's your best receiver? I'm going for them. I said, okay, fine. Let me see if I can be better than this guy or that guy, even though I never wanted to be there. Every day for 2 years, I sat in the running backs meeting. And y'all know it's all open. And when coach says break down, that's when they bring the partitions in. Everybody starts breaking down. I didn't move until they brought partitions in. Coach Schneider would be like, hey, come on over. Every single day I would sit in the running back section. Every day for 2 years. And I would get laughed at. They would just laugh at me like, you going over there, so why are you sitting over here? I'm like,
I'm a running back.
I'm a running back.
Perspective changes a lot for sure.
Yes. And that's why I can look back now on football and have a different perspective than when I was 17. I understand Coach Fry. I understand what he was trying to do for the team, not for the player, but for the team. And in order to help the team, you need to do this for the team, not for yourself. And it's hard at 17 and 18 to think like that because you
Yeah.
don't think you're doing anything for the team because you're not playing the position that you think you could help the team at. In this puzzle where you're supposed to be to help the team at this point. And that's what he did. And now thinking back, I'm like, wow, yeah. If you're in charge, you're trying to help the team win. And you're going to do whatever it takes to get all your people in the right position so they can win. And when they're winning, then the team is winning. So you put these kids in position to win, not to fail. But when you're getting changed, you think you're failing because you didn't live up or do what you got recruited to do. So you think you failed. It's like you lost, and we all competitors. So when you lost, you're pissed. And then you don't get a chance to recover because no, you're going to stay over there. Now you really think you're like in jail. Oh my gosh. Can I get parole? What?
Right.
What do I got to do to get out? And Coach Fry's the warden. You may never get out.
I did for just a little bit, I think. I got out of jail for 6 games, 7 maybe. And then I was right back in. Yeah, for sure. That's funny. It's
Everybody
funny.
knows, like, ooh, yeah, we worked.
Yeah.
It's a great
If
quote.
you're over
Yeah,
there,
that's awesome.
remember them? Ah, shoot. You might not get
That's
out of
very
this
fitting.
one. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's very fitting. I don't know if you know my story, but I got recruited as an athlete, played at a small school, and I wanted to play, right? And I was like, want to play. I finally talked them into letting me playing tight end for a couple times in practice, and then I got to play kickoff return, but they were just like, yeah. Every day I'd go in there and be like, let me get on the field. They're just like, nope, nope.
Go back to punting.
Go back to punting. You're going to be punting. That's it. So I know what that feels like. But then I guess happy now that my body feels good when I'm older and some of those injuries and those things aren't as bad.
We do what we got to do when we got to do it. And we look back and then we start to think in a different light, like you said, which is cool. I guess that's what age does. And that's why bringing older guys around younger guys like us, we all get to start to talk and then we can gain a lot from the experience of others. And if we don't bring that back to the young kids, then they're losing out because they have all this experience that they can gain from just being around. We don't have to actually mentor these kids, just you being there, being able to have access, which is key for kids. Just having them to say, hey, what do you think about this? Can mean a lot to a kid. And I hope that what happened just the weekend past, that will continue. And hopefully that'll give these young guys something outside of what's going on in the facility. It's real important that they talk to people that have done it already. And that's a hard thing for kids to say, yo, you don't know everything. It doesn't work that way. If you don't do this or do that, it'll never happen. So I hope that the change is happening and that we can continue to just take advantage of this opportunity that we have. I'm all about the team.
It's funny you say that in those terms because we've talked about 50 guys and it's a roadmap. Yeah, it was a roadmap of some people figured out more or how to navigate the map better. Some people had people that were in their lives that had seen it or done it. It's hard to come in being young like that and be like, okay, how do I get through this? Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? What am I not supposed to do? And I think it's great that we can be these mentors or even just be someone to be like, hey, hang in there. It's like people that have been through the process and know how hard it is and know what it takes to get through it. I think that's great. And that's one of the reasons we have been doing this is to highlight some great players, to show the map for these kids. Hey, you're 18, this is what's going to happen. And this is going to get hard. And, this is what it's going to take to get through all this.
Most of the people we've interviewed has been at least 40, mostly 50, 60-year-olds. And so you're right, that time and that distance from football, I think, gives us a different perspective than if you talk to these kids right now or a couple years out of school or they're still in the league. And now looking back, I think they have a different view of their experience and good and bad. And so I think that's what's been really interesting is it gives them a chance to, I don't know if it forces them to think back about some of those experiences and take the good stuff out of it and also realize, yeah, how much I have changed or thought or think differently than I used to back then and how young we were. Yeah. It was a wild ride. It was just like chaotic. And then it's over. And now it's, whoa, what the hell happened?
It's gone. I just want to say that I've never had a bad experience at Iowa. I never had bad experience playing at the University of Iowa. I think people sometimes misunderstand that me not liking something means that it was a bad experience. No, it was something with me that had something to do with me, but I never had a bad experience playing at the University of Iowa. And I don't know how you can understanding that when I'm on the field, it's not a bad experience. I'm on the field. So you're not thinking about anything but playing. It's when you get off that your mind starts to play the tricks on you. That, oh, you're not playing running back. You start thinking. But when you're on the field, even before I get on the field, I'm thinking that, man, I'm not playing running back. I see the running backs over there warming up. I'm warming up with receivers. But once you're in the play, you don't think about nothing. It is over. So that was the catch 22 in it. I'm not here to say that it was a bad experience. I'm here to say that I just wish I could have played running back for the whole time I was there. Because people don't understand, I only played running back for 2 years. And then I broke my leg my junior year. So I didn't play the whole season out. So I had a year and a couple of months of playing running back. That was it.
Wow.
2 years
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Can I ask some personal questions about that?
You sure can. Go for it. I'm 61. I ain't got nothing to hide.
Oh, no, I don't want to get too personal.
I'm older now. I
I
can't
love
run
it.
the stadium stands now, dude. I'm done. I don't have to
So-
run cross fields.
Yeah. So as far as the receiver, was it because did you see that as like a failure because you weren't playing running back? Or you like that's
Yes.
what you thought you were supposed to be?
Yes. Remember I
Okay.
told you at the beginning, you feel
Yeah.
like you lost.
Okay. But that's the main hang up with receivers, just you were like, I felt like you got moved to something that you weren't. Got it. Okay.
Felt like I failed. I know people, even when I was talking to people at the gathering, they was like, dude, what? All the running backs I'm talking to, They're running back, so they're happy. All the receivers are happy. They're coming in the meeting room. They're happy. They're at receiver spot. And I said, every day you guys came in and you was laughing, having fun, and I'm sitting there looking at you like I am pissed because I
Yeah.
can't have fun because I'm over here. So yeah, it felt like I was out. I was in space.
It's an identity thing. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I guess. I don't know. I can't answer. I don't know how I played receiver. I really don't. I don't know. I just played football. It was just like me coming out the backfield, catching the ball. I had to find some way to get it.
So
So
vulnerability of something new as well then. Interesting. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. At a big stage, right? Yeah, I can see that.
I didn't think I was qualified. But Coach Fry, you're gonna do what Coach Fry say, period. So I tried to get out of it. I asked to be redshirted. I said I'd rather redshirt than play receiver. They were like, nah, that ain't happening. He's like, no, I don't think that's gonna work. I was like, but I'm asking the redshirt. No, Ronnie, I don't think so. I think you need to go play receiver, do this for the team. I was like, oh wow. You throwing that on me now? Like I ain't a team player? I was like, wow, I can't even what the? He just killing me. He is punching me back. I'm 17, right? I don't
Yeah.
know how to respond. I only responded to what I want to do. You 17, you want to do this. You're not there for reason. You 17, you have no reason. You're not old enough to have a reason. You can't compare it to anything. Now in life, as you get older, you can start comparing things. Like, oh, that's not worth it. Oh, I know about that. No, I don't want to do that. But at 17, what are you comparing it to? You did what you wanted. You played running back in high school. What else is there to compare it to? Nothing. The only thing I can compare that to when I think about it is when we got a new coach in high school and he did not want to make me captain, period. The crazy thing is that my brother was a captain because he was older than me and we played on the same team. He played quarterback and I played running back and DB. He was a senior and I was a sophomore. And I was the only sophomore playing on the varsity. When the new coach came in, he was like, no, you're not going to be captain. He was trying to use me as an example to say, yo, you can't have it. And that made me so upset. Not because I wasn't a captain, it's because you're just trying to use me as an example to show that you have more power over me. I was like, okay, here we go again. I was like, yes. So I was used to getting thrashed around. So I understood it. I was like, oh, here we go again in college, the same thing again. Oh my goodness. When is this ever going to stop? And then I go to the pros and it's the same thing. So being able to do something that most running backs can't do, you can get typecast because they only want you for that certain thing. I got typecast because they did not want me to run the ball. They're like, no, we can find somebody else to run the ball. We want you to do this. So I never really got the chance to run the ball in the pros. They didn't want me doing it. It was just that simple. They're like, no, you're not going to do it. We have you for this. I was like, there is that receiver thing coming up again. I'm like, gosh, can I get away from this? No, catch 22, like I said before. If you do something so well, would you be able to get out of it? But you can't do it bad because that's not who you are. You got to play. So now you're in a, you can't win because you playing so well that you're in. I was really scared that I would never get back to running back. Never. I wasn't thinking like that when I was on the field. I was thinking like that when I'm going to class, sitting there. Oh my gosh, they're going to keep me here. What am I going to do? That's all I thought about. More on the practice field. Oh gosh, but I can't stop catching the ball. So it's just like you see it up, you got to go get it, right? You're like, oh, I'm out here on the field. But it's a catch 22 because you go up and you get it, and everybody's like, hey, you like mad because you caught it. So it's like, what do you do? You
Oh
go
man.
back to the huddle pissed. I used to come back to the huddle just upset. They're like, yo, good catch. I'm just mad. Hate this position. I'm like, it was all up in my head. I just couldn't get it out. I just could not get it out. To this day, I just can't get it out. I just think I wasted my time at Iowa playing 2 years at receiver, 2 years at running back. That's in my head. I know. Everybody's looking at me like, sounds really
No,
crazy.
no, no, I don't. I get it. I get it. If you're
Yeah,
not,
it makes sense.
but you got to love it. You got to love it. You got to be motivated. If you're not happy with it, it's hard. It's hard to do that, right? It's hard to be like, get up every day and be like, I want to do that thing over there. I know how that feels. I did the same thing. I was like, I want to be with those guys. And I was like, I was punting and I was happy to be punting and had a blast doing it. But I was like, I want to go do that. And I understand it completely. And I would call my parents up every week and be like, I want to get on the field. And they're just like, just keep going. It's hard to be like, yeah, you're doing something for the team. You love it. It's great. It's fun, all those things. But if your head's somewhere else, your heart's somewhere else, it's really hard. So I can completely understand. I was like, I want to be out on the field. I want to be running around hitting people and doing all that stuff. I love punting, but that's not all I want to be doing. So now I can get that. Scared to think what you would have been if you'd have been 4 years for a running back. Jesus, motivated on the field.
Yeah, it was difficult, but life is difficult. Raising an 11-year-old daughter, difficult.
I don't know why they don't want to go to bed. That's the like, man, go to sleep. You're gonna get old. You're gonna want to go to bed.
I'm gonna want to go to sleep.
Stay up all night. What's wrong with you
I'm
people?
like, dude, it's like, why? Oh, I'll be fine. I'm like, no, you won't. But okay, all right, go ahead, stay up. We'll see how this works. Keep gonna get up.
Love it.
So what happened after the 83 season then? You played 2 seasons. Did you go in and say, I want to move, or they were like, now we're going to bring you back over? How did that happen that you got back into the running back room?
I don't even remember how. I have no recollection of how I got back. I really don't. I showed up and I was at running back. I don't know how. I don't know what went on.
They quit
See,
calling you over. They just left you there in their room.
yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I just know I ended up at running back, but I don't know how I got there. I know how I got to receiver, but I don't know how I got back to running back. I remember how it happened when he switched me, but I have no recollection of how I got back to running back. It's just like a blur. I don't even remember the whole season. I don't remember nothing from the season. I don't remember anything from playing running back at Iowa. I don't remember the games. So when I was going to talk to you, I went back to try to look at some games so I can understand what I was talking about because I don't remember. And people are like, you don't remember? I'm like, no. It went by so quick because I was so happy to be there that it just zoomed by. It was just like I was a senior. I was done. But the games are going by so quick. Whereas when I was playing receiver, it seemed like it took forever. 2 years felt like I was there forever. When I got back to running back, it was like I was done. Meaning it was like over. I don't know how the season went by that quick. I don't remember anything. I just remember just playing, and then all of a sudden it's over. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just wasted 2 years. That's all I thought about. Wow. I can't even imagine what it would have been like if I played and not even start. The thing is, I didn't start at wide receiver. I switched in. So I'm saying to myself, why am I over here if I'm switching in? I can sit on the bench. I'm cool with that. I was cool with being redshirted. I didn't even want to play. I was like, no, I'm good. I'll redshirt. You're like, no, you're not redshirt. I was like, who says to the coach, I want a redshirt? And they tell me, no, you ain't redshirted. I was like, this is crazy. Well, other
Those
guys,
guys,
no, I don't want a red shirt. I'm saying I
yes.
want a red shirt because I felt if I redshirted, I could get better. That would give me an extra year at running back. I was like, oh my gosh. Yes, redshirt me, please. An extra year? So I get a whole year just to train and learn the offense. I was like, oh my God. That's what a red shirt is? Everybody, yeah, you get an extra year. I was like, oh, then I don't want to play. So you mean when you're a sophomore, you're still a freshman playing? I was like, yes. Oh, this is great. I felt like it was cheating. I'm like, oh my God, this is cheating. Oh, I want a red shirt. I don't want to play. They're like, yeah, that's what it is. I was like, oh. So when guys say, oh, I don't want a red shirt, I'm like, you get 5 years to play? I'm good. So yeah, that
Yeah,
was
we've had many guys come on that said that was a disappointment that they got redshirted. There was like a failure, they thought, because I'm going to come in and play 4 years right away. I'm so good. I'm ready to play as a freshman. And yeah, most people don't have that attitude. They're disappointed.
I was disappointed because I was playing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's why.
I feel like I'm wasting a year. Like, why am I out here? Now, can I redshirt next year? I'm like, no, there is no
Too
more
good.
redshirt for you, buddy. This is it. So you mean to tell me I lost a year? I'm like, yeah, it's over. Once you play as a freshman, you can't redshirt. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? I am so confused. So my brother redshirt, he gets 5 and I only get 4? And he gets 5 at running back? I'm like, man, this sucks. It really sucks. So all I can say, it sucked. I was just thinking too much. I guess I was overthinking it. Maybe you guys can tell me. You can be my psychologist.
It's interesting to look back, but yeah, hard to sort that stuff out. We're a little bit of psychologists on this. We're all well-adjusted humans. It's like we got something we're grinding on. It's something that we forgot about or didn't do well at. Yeah, it's like people are like, we want our kids to be pro athletes. I'm like, why do you want to put them through that? This is not easy. This is not fun. This is a mental jujitsu. Some of this shit.
Yes. And I tell people, I'm like, hey, listen, see them kids out there in Little League, they're enjoying it. It doesn't get better. I went with Mike Hay to his grandson's flag football game, and they would grab the flag and then pick it up and give it back to the kid that they grabbed it from. And I'm looking, I'm like, this will never happen ever again. I said, as they get older, they will not pick up the flag. The parents are going to be yelling and screaming. They're going to hate it. They were loving it. They were just having fun. Like just pure fun. They wasn't mad at the other people, the other kids on the other side. They were just nice. I was like, wow. And as you get older, they just beat it out of you. I mean, we all still love it, but we love it at a distance, knowing that I can't love this that much because it's going to kill me. You don't want to get so involved with this football thing, knowing that this is going to hurt, dude. Meaning that they're going to do something that's going to hurt you really bad. They're going to hurt your feelings. And some people recover, and some people don't. And that's what growing up does. It's going to hurt your feelings. And if you can't recover from that, sports is not the place. Because it will try you. It will try to destroy you, either from the outside or the inside. And like you said, the mind games that are played within before you even get on the field, it's tricky. It hurts people. Mentally, it hurts them. And it was hurting me. And I was playing. So I can imagine the guy that doesn't have the chance to get on the field, what's it doing to this guy? And that's why I always went up to people and say, yo, I understand what you're feeling. Because I feel the same way. And I tell them, I'm playing. And I'm still feeling like you feel. So don't get so down on yourself that you don't play your best. Don't let them take that away from you, that you can still do your best on the field. Now, the other stuff you can't control, but once you're on the field, the coaches have no control over you. None. You can do as well as you want to do or as bad as you want to do. But that is one thing they can't take away from you. They have no control. Now, they have control over whether you get the call or not, but you shouldn't worry about how many calls you get. You just worry about the one that you get. And that's how I felt. After a while, I didn't care how many times you call a pass my way. Or if you was throwing it away, I was going to try to go get it. Because I know I might not never get another one. So Chuck would just throw it. I'm like, oh my gosh, the ball is up. Okay. It was not like the play was for me. He's just running around trying to get the ball out. So I'm like, this is your chance to do something. Always running towards him. Like, throw it up, Chuck. I'm going for it. And he would just throw it up. I was like, oh my God, you better go get it because you may not get another one. That's how I used to think. Because I felt like I would never get another ball thrown to me. I always remember they cannot really control what you do on the field. So if I could tell young people that, I said, hey, they can control a lot. But the one thing they have zero control over, and that's why they get so upset during games, because they have no control. They can't do anything. All they can do is stand on the sideline and watch, just like all the fans in the stand. They're the first fans. They're right on the field, but they can't control it. They can't really control what you do. Only you can do that. So I would tell young people, they will take a lot away from you. But the one thing they can't take, which is major, is you playing once you're on the field. Now, if you do your best on the field, it doesn't matter. So I always try to express that to young kids. Don't get into the game off the field. Just play the game. Do your best when you're on the field. That's it. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about what the coach said. He can't do anything. And that comes down to you preparing again. So when you go to practice, you're on the field. Do your best. And then whatever happens after that, it doesn't matter. I think the young guys get caught up in what the coach is saying to them at the point, and then they can't really get to doing their best because they got wrapped up in what the coach was saying. And that's what I would tell young guys. Don't get caught up in that. That will destroy you because you're never right enough where the coach said, okay, I'm not going to say anything to you today. I have never played a perfect game. I've always tried, but I have never, in my mind, always wanted to play that perfect game where the coach never said anything to me. I have never played it. Never. From college to pros, I was always trying for that perfect game, the perfect route, the perfect depth, the perfect pickup, the one-on-ones, everything. It was always something. Go in the meeting room, he got you. Bam. What about this? You didn't get you 1 yard off, buddy. I'm like, oh my gosh. When am I going to get that perfect game? Never. That was my thought. Play that perfect game. I could never get it. I was searching for it forever and never got it.
Tormenting sometimes. It is, right? It is tormenting. It's like I'd get caught up in it. I'd be like, same thing. We'd won the game and I had a decent game, and I'd still be mad that one kick was 10 yards too short. And I got lost in so many of those moments. Didn't enjoy some of those wins because I was just pissed off. I was like, I should have done this better. That's a dangerous voice in your head, right? I look back at that and I was like, man, what if I just was like thinking about getting better every day instead of just being like, that wasn't perfect. That was in my head all the time. Fuck, that was terrible. Just beating myself up mentally. Yeah. That wasn't perfect. That wasn't perfect. That was wrong. Fuck that up. Jesus. It's a weird mind frame to get in. Yeah, for sure.
I call it the ultimate mind bleep.
Yeah.
It's
Dude, yeah, it's hard.
But is that the reason you're successful? Is it that drive and that focus, striving to get better and be perfect? And yes, it's very mentally taxing, but that, and ultimately what made you successful is that you had that drive that just kept you going and focused. And I'm going to get that ball and I'm going to play like it's my last play. I think that's probably a differentiator in your success. A lot of guys don't have that and take a play off or take it for granted. So I think it could be an advantage for you, even though it's taxing mentally.
See, that's the part. It's an advantage, but when does the advantage become a disadvantage?
Yeah.
Meaning that, okay, I'm playing receiver. I want to go get that ball, but do I really want to go get that ball? Because if I go get it and I catch it, then I'm stuck. You can't stop yourself from being an athlete. That's what most athletes have trouble with. They cannot stop themselves. They're addicted to playing well and being on the field. Once you're on the field, the whole thing changes in your mind. You're like, oh my gosh, okay. You forget about everything and you're just playing. That is the situation that I was in all the time. I gotta get that. Because if I don't, I may not get it again. It was weird. Now that I think it was just like I was on a hamster on a wheel, just going around and around and never getting off to actually see what was going on. I'm still on the wheel, just going in my mind. And then people say, you played it so well, but I don't think I did. I don't even think I belonged over there. So I'm back on the wheel again. Okay, I may get 2 throws to me today. What are you going to do if you get one? Try not to go down. At least get 2 or 3 extra yards because you may not see this again. So it was a constant battle within. Now that I think about it, I don't even know how I played because I was always thinking, oh my gosh, this is not going to go well. And Coach Ryan would laugh all the time. He would just look at me and just start laughing, knowing that I don't want to be there, but he's laughing. You just can't help yourself. You just can't help yourself. Look at you. That's what I'm telling you about. I'm like, oh, I hate you, Coach Fry. Oh my God, this is so bad. This is so bad. I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused. He's laughing at me because he knows I want to play so bad that I'm going to try to do whatever it takes on the field. And then he knows I hate it. And he laughs at me like, I know, I understand. Good job. I'm like, oh, Coach Rod, I hate you so much. I hate you. But I understand now. I do. And that's where I think that my story is no different than anybody else's story. I just got lucky. I was on the right team at the right time, the right coaching staff. It's just like everything lined up. Now I can pick out things that I didn't like or whatever, but I learned a lot from Coach Snyder, which helped me in the pros because I could read defenses from the backfield. So I never had a problem reading and getting to depth and knowing the timing of the quarterback. I knew all of that. I could time up the quarterback's depth or drop precisely. I had a time clock in my head all the time. And what I learned is to stand back. When you stand back and you're waiting your turn, I would count how many seconds it took the quarterback to get to his depth at a comfortable rate and throw. So I would time it out 1001, 1002, 1003. So I knew at what point I needed to get to my depth to make him have a nice, easy, comfortable set to throw the ball. I knew that. I didn't have to know the quarterback. I just needed to know how long it took him to get to his depth, where I needed to be on the field. And that was basically Coach Snyder, because I never played receiver before, so why would I know that? So he's the one that taught me that. And that's why me and Chuck got along so well on the field, is because I played receiver and I knew where I needed to be for him. And it helped. And people don't understand. Me and Chuck never talked. Never. Ever. And people were like, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, I spoke. But on the field, I even told him that the past week, I said, Chuck, we never talked. But on the field, I said, we were good. I said, I don't know how we had this weird connection. And then he says to me, which almost made me mad again, because it took me back to 17-year-old. He was like, oh, yeah, he's laughing. Ah, yeah, I know. Because Coach Fry said, hey, Chuck, you get in trouble, just throw it up to Ronnie. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. Are you serious? He's laughing. And I'm getting hot. I didn't say anything. I was just starting to burn up. Like, I said, are you serious, Chuck? He's like, yes. I was so upset. Because I was like, what the? Just throw it up? I was like, Chuck, that sucks. Coach Fry told me to do. He said, you didn't know that, did you? I was like, no. He was like, yes. He said, anytime I get in trouble, just run around and you see Ronnie, just throw it up. We'll have a shot. And me being upset because I'm playing receiver, I'm like, oh my gosh, he threw it my way. Oh, I gotta go get it. I gotta find a way to get this ball. See, so it was just like a weird thing going on where Coach Fry had me, and I couldn't help myself to not go get it or try to get open as I can because I knew I was never going to get it again. But they're saying in the meeting room, just throw it up. And I'm like, so y'all didn't even send me on a pattern? We did, but we knew we just throw it your way. I was like, Chuck, that sucked. He's like, no, I'm sorry, but that's what we did.
And it worked really well too.
Maybe a little testament to your athleticism. So they're just like, hey,
Yeah.
get down there, we'll get it to you.
The offense was
I
incredible.
made the ultimate compliment. Yeah.
No, see, I just think we had a good team. I think we all worked well together. I always say that we just had a good team, a really good team. And that is what I'm probably most proud of because we just had a good team all around, everywhere.
All right, team, listen up. There's a national blood shortage. Big Ten schools, how do we get students, fans, alumni to donate? Hit me. Give them merch. Not quite like that. Who can beat it? Chance of the President's Suite? Classy. Campus concert. Keep the ideas coming, team. Don't let your school get one up. Save lives and help win your school $1 million. Hey, whose hand is that?
Hi, I'm Hayden Ulrich, and I was the kid captain for the Ohio State game. Hayden's story takes us back to 2016. She was diagnosed with ALL, which is a kind of leukemia. Hayden needed transfusions, platelets during her stay here at the university. 2.5 years wreaked havoc on her blood and on her body. The blood donations is important because we're having college kids that could be doing so many other things with the college life. Giving blood to random people they probably will never see or hear from again in their lives. But while doing that, they're doing so much good in people's lives. And I am a true form of what blood donations can do for someone.
I wish I could have took more advantage of that, meaning had enjoyed it more, because I didn't enjoy it. Like I think now back, I should have enjoyed it more. I didn't because I had all this other stuff up in my head. I'm only over here now, I only got 2 years. Uh, what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna play. It was not a good headspace at all. So I was never in a good headspace in college. And people are like, that sounds crazy. I was never in a good headspace.
Oh, I think we're all struggling to
I think
be.
we're all thinking
We
the
were all
same thing.
struggling to
Yeah,
be in
we
a
did
good
not enjoy
space
it.
of how do we deal with
Much
this?
as we
How do
could.
we, what's success? Like there's all those questions, right? What's success? How do I help my team? Are you doing it for the team? There's a lot of stuff. I think it's a lot more common than you think it'd be. It's not a mentally settling place to be. You got a lot of things you're dealing with.
That's why I say it's like the greatest time and the worst time in my life because it's so stressful and so much pressure, yet you're on top of the world and exhilarating and you're competing and you're winning. It's this dichotomy going on the whole time and it's crazy.
It's crazy, right? It's like we age so quick. 17, 18, 19, and then you don't know all the things that you're going through. You're going through it, and then when you look back, you go, wow, how did we go through that and actually make it through it? I guess because of our teammates, because we know everybody's going through it.
A little bit.
Everybody's upset about something. Coach said you didn't do this in practice. It's never a good day. The only good day is when we all go get something to eat together and we're sitting there talking about the coach. And then we all laughing. Yeah, we got to do it tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow.
That's why these reunions are great because we don't have to deal with any of that stuff anymore. We can enjoy it. This is fun. This is awesome. Go to the game. We don't have to get yelled at. We don't have to watch film the next day.
It's amazing.
This is what we should be enjoying.
When your leg broke, tell us about that because a lot of guys have mentioned that was difficult to get through. I don't remember when that happened. Was it middle of the season? Tell us how that played out. Did you have to rehab? Did you get back healthy?
Oh my
Was it a
God.
struggle?
It was in November, I think. We was playing Wisconsin at home. And I broke my leg. I don't remember the second quarter, I think. And then I come to find out from the reunion that Kelly O'Brien blew out his knee later on. I didn't even know that until that reunion. Mike Haight told me that, yes, Kelly O'Brien got hurt too in the same game. I wouldn't have known because I was already in the hospital. So he said, yeah, I blew up my knee in that game too. I was like, oh my God. I broke my leg in November, and now here comes the mind game again. I'm not going to say hate playing receiver. I did not enjoy playing receiver because I always tell my daughter, stop saying hate. Hate is such a hard word. You can say you dislike it or it's not my favorite thing, but stay away from the hate word. So I'm going to stay away from the hate word. I'm going to say I did not enjoy it as much as I would have if it was playing running back. So that started another cycle of mind games with myself because now I got hurt. So I get back to running back, now I get hurt. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I had 900 and something yards. So I might have been able to get 1,000 yards. Broken leg, done. So I got it in November and I was on crutches for 6 months. So I didn't go through a spring ball because I was rehabbing. I know this sounds crazy too. I always thought that one day I'm going to get hurt. I always said this to myself. One day I'm going to get hurt, and this is going to be your time to really know if you want to play football. I said this when I was like young. You're going to get hurt. I don't know when, but one day you're going to get hurt. And that is when you're going to be able to tell if you really want to play. Because now you're going to have to come back from it. So this was my chance to show myself that I really love to play football. You get hurt, but now can you come back? I said, okay, this is part of football. This is part of sports. It was a competition to see if I could get back. So that's what I did. It was just a straight up competition of saying, I'm getting back. Because if you love this game that much, you're supposed to get hurt, but now you're supposed to take care of this part too. You get hurt, you come back. And you come back just where you left off. So it can't be no, oh, you're not the same. No, you have to come back and be at the same point that you were before. And that's what was going on in my head. And that's why I didn't care if I got hurt. It wasn't a big deal to get hurt because I knew that was always part of the game and I was already prepared for getting hurt. So the challenge was the rehab. Okay, that's part of the game. Now you got to do the rehab really well. That was my competition. That's what I was focusing on, to come back and be at the same spot. I played a lot of mind games with myself.
We all did. I think the people that can flush the bad stuff, those are the people that can be super, super successful. You've got to be able to flush that stuff, right? You've got to be able to just mentally get past it. I don't think I was able to do that. I don't think I was able to be like, all right, I blew this thing. I would ruminate on that shit forever. And I think the people that are really good are able to just be like, okay, I don't care. I just messed this thing up, but I'm just going to do the next one. I think that's part of it.
But that would have been the beauty in all of us being around, that you could talk to somebody that went through something of that same nature of what you was going through, that they could be like your scout and show you the way. And not saying you have to travel that way, but I can show you how to get through the forest. You don't have to go this way, but here's one idea of what you could do, and you can see the similarities of the same condition, which is helpful to say, oh, somebody else is going through it. That's all it's about, is that you can have somebody say, oh, yeah, I've been through that, and it's going to be like this, and it's going to happen. But if you're disconnected like we are from the younger people, then they're going at it with blinders on. And why do they need to do that when they have all this experience around them to help them through it? And the programs that keep the guys in the program usually do well. They usually come back from a lot of stuff. Like, you can say whatever you want about Miami, but when I was in the league, they took care of their guys. And that helps the younger guys because it gives them some sort of pride. They want these younger kids to do well. It's not like they're on a pedestal. Michael Irvin never put himself on a pedestal when he went back to Miami. He was like, you can do this. If I did it, you can do it. And here are the things that you can and cannot do. But it has to start right here, right now. You can't think down, oh, I want to. No, if you're not doing it here today, it's never going to happen. So you get these guys to play hard now. That's a beautiful thing to me. I'm like, wow. I can't even imagine that. If you play receiver, he comes back and he's giving you pointers on how to play that position, the same position that you played, he played at the same school, and he's saying it can be done. I hope this changes the attitude that there is a place for the younger generation and the older generation to come together and feed off each other.
I think we met Rob Houtland after we graduated. Nick and I were training, and they had him come back to help with a camp, or we were at our senior year or something. And I'd hammered him with questions because I grew up in Iowa City. Like, that was the pinnacle of my youth. I was your daughter's age when you guys were going through that run in '85. So I got to meet Rob, and I'm like, I got so many questions for you. What do I do in this situation? And what do you do for practice? Do you have a bag of balls in your car? Like, I was just hammering him with questions. And I'm like, I wish we could have met him earlier in my career so I could have had those questions and asked those things and gotten some advice. And you just have to figure it out on your own. And then you're like, oh, there's these people that have already been through this. They've been on this journey already. And yeah, like you said, if we could do a better job connecting them to the players that have already been there, especially the pro guys that have gone on and been successful, that's such valuable tools. And it's a different voice than they're getting from at home or their coaches. And so you're right. That would be really cool to connect better with some of the current guys.
Do you have any funny Coach Fry stories besides him laughing at you?
Did he try to talk to you much, or he knew to leave you alone?
Yeah, Coach Fry never spoke. None of the coaches spoke to me. They coached me in the meeting room, but after that, there was no conversation ever. It was a lonely kind of experience, dude. I know people are like, I don't understand. I get that people don't understand. They see what they see on the field, but they don't know like the backstage of everything. It's just like a Broadway show. You see the stage, but you don't know really what's going on backstage. Shakespeare would say, we all play a different role on stage, but in backstage, it's a different game going on. I didn't talk to any other coaches ever. They say this or that to me on the field, but actually have a conversation with them, no. I never talked to Coach Fry. Coach Fry didn't talk to players. He say something to you to do something, but he didn't have a conversation with you. You're not like his buddy.
We thought that he would with someone, but we're finding out that everyone
Talked
had
to
a
any-
limited scope with him.
Surprising.
We thought some top players would be like, okay, he'd get him in their office and ask him how the team was doing or whatever. His captains, they were kind of like, yeah, we didn't interact with him much.
Nah, we didn't. I know I never did. Maybe Chuck did because he's his favorite. I know he hates that.
We'll ask him next week. I think he's on
I
next
know.
week. Isn't he?
Ask him and say, Ronnie said Coach Fry was your favorite.
We'll get him back.
Oh, everybody thought I was his favorite. He yelled at me more than anybody. And he did yell a lot at Chuck. Always yelling at him, especially during the game. Chuck, don't change the play until I tell you to. Then when he doesn't change it, why didn't you change the play? I'm like, this guy can never be right. I'm like, you just told him not to change the play. But now you're telling him to change. I'm saying this in my head. I'm not ever saying it out loud. I'm not even thinking out loud. I'm thinking like that when I go back to my dorm in Slater. Like he told Chuck not to change the play, but then he yells at him for not changing the play. I'm like, this is crazy. I said, I'm glad I'm not over there in the quarterback meetings. But yeah, Coach Fry was a business guy. He wanted his program to go a certain way. He wanted to win, period, and not win Big Ten. He was thinking national champion. He wanted that bad. So we were not playing for the Big Ten championship. He wanted to win it, but he wanted to be ranked, and he wanted to play those SEC schools and beat them. He was all about beating Texas, Alabama, the big schools that we thought were the big schools. He wanted to beat them to show everybody, hey, Iowa's here. We're going up against you. So when we went to bowl games, like Florida, we played all SEC schools. Tennessee, we played Tennessee, Texas, Florida, and then the Rose Bowl. And we only lost to Florida. We beat Texas and Tennessee. He wanted to destroy them. And we did. We beat Texas 55 to something, right? 55-17. And then we beat Tennessee. And that's when they was at the top of their game. So he wanted to beat SEC schools. He did not care. We're going to destroy them if we can. And he's going to run the score up. He ain't stopping. When we played Texas, he did not stop. No, we're going all in. I was like, oh my gosh, he's trying to run up the score. He's from Texas, so everybody knew what was happening. He was like, he's going to score as many points as he can. And he's throwing it deep. Oh my God. We were ahead and he's still throwing it deep.
There must have been some deep story behind that one. They didn't hire him or something, I think. Yeah.
I know. I was like, oh my God. And he did not take us out of the game. Gosh. If he had a gripe, it was our gripe now. Man, this is how it's going to be. I'm telling you how it's going to be. Of course, we didn't understand a word he was saying because he was speaking in, I don't know, Texas lingo. I don't know what he was saying.
Couldn't understand a word of it.
But yeah, he got you tied into whatever he thought was the problem. The other team, the disrespect.
Oh, yeah.
We got some trickery we're going to run. He got us motivated to buy into the game plan.
He was going to disrespect the other team. That was his thing. He wanted to beat you up and then disrespect you and said, don't ever look at Iowa like that ever again. Because he felt that Iowa was being disrespected all the time. Oh, you're not supposed to be winning. You shouldn't be this or that. And he disliked it very much. He disliked it so much, we had to dislike it. I don't even know why we dislike anybody. I'm just here playing football, so I didn't know that there was a serious Iowa State, Iowa thing going on. Because I was from New York, so I was like, why y'all dislike this team so much? It's an in-state rival. I didn't know nothing about in-state rivals. I guess that would be something between Brooklyn and Queens. We did not like Brooklyn, and Brooklyn did not like Queens. I said, oh, I can get into that. Oh, I got it. Oh, all right, cool. So it's that kind of thing. Yeah, I said, got it. Let's go play them then. So we supposed to beat them by 50? The coach is going to let us score 50? Yes. He's not going to take us out? No. My gosh, this is going to be great. So that was the thing. That's the only thing I could think about. And we did. We just had a good team, guys. I can't overstate that. We had a good group of guys. We were just so cool with each other. I've never been on a team like that again. Even when we went to the Super Bowl in San Diego, the team wasn't professional guys. Everybody was out for themselves. Whereas Frisco, they were about the team. They were about winning the Super Bowl, not having individual things going on. That's why they beat us bad, San Diego, because they were so focused on the goal and not things that came outside of that. That's what I remember about Frisco. They will always play as a team. Even though they had Rice and Montana, they played as a team. And they was going to throw the ball to the open guy, even though Jerry got a lot of it. But people don't know, without John Taylor, there's no Jerry Rice. Right. You got to have two great receivers to have one good receiver. John Taylor is just as good as Jerry Rice. And he's usually the one that was scoring that go-ahead or final touchdown. It was John Taylor, not Jerry Rice. And people forget that. But you never hear about John Taylor. But without John Taylor on the other side, there was no Jerry Rice. It's just like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Michael was doing everything he was doing before Pippen got there. But when Pippen got there, it just went to a different level. And nobody can deny that.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, sure. When you think of Michael, you think of Scottie too.
You said you had a team that really played together. Yeah, where do you think you guys stacked up talent-wise compared to the rest of the people in the nation at that point? Do you think you were on par with the rest of them, or you think you were just that good of composite team that elevated you guys? Rest of the teams in college football. I mean, you had a lot of talent, let's be honest, right? You had a lot of guys that did well and went on to play, but do you think you were like at the other top teams at those times?
I think that we were one of the top teams in the nation, definitely. I knew we were that good when we played Ohio State. We lost at Ohio State, but they were so happy that they beat us. They usually beat everyone, but they were beating a good team, and they knew it too. And the fans ran onto the field because they beat Iowa. Right there, I knew, oh my gosh, they were really concerned about us. They knew we were that good. If we played them in the dry weather, it would have been no match. But I can't say that right now. But we were just a good team. It's just one of them things. You don't know why. You don't know how we all came together. We didn't have fast receivers, but they caught everything. And I mean everything. They did not drop. Scott Halverson and Billy Happel, they did not drop. They may not be the fastest, but as you see, they still got open, and they did not drop. Ever. Chuck threw it to them, they did not drop. I was like, wow. They weren't fast. They wasn't fast. I was talking to Billy Happel. I was like, you guys caught everything. I said, Bill, it didn't matter. You got open and you caught it. Who cares? I guess you don't need to be 4'3" to catch, right? Do you really? You got open. So I don't know how fast you have to be to get open, but you got open and you caught it. That's what I was so proud of. We had receivers that never dropped. I always say we had some good receivers. They never dropped. I was just so proud of the other guys. And I was just proud to be part of them. You know what I mean? It's just like you see your boy out there doing what he's doing, and he's doing it really well. That's inspiring. And when you meet with the guys, like the linemen, it was like, oh, you made us look good, and we missed blocks. And I was like, no, you didn't. I never saw you miss blocks. I just thought I was part of you. Oh, maybe that happened. Now it's my turn to say, okay, if that happened, then I need to do this. They were good too. I used to tell them, I said, don't worry about missing a block. I don't care. You shouldn't care either. You just do what you have to do, and I'll do what I have to do. Don't worry about it. I didn't care about penalties. That means we move back, and that means we get more yards. It was just a mind thing. We were just really mature at that age. I don't know how. I don't know if Coach Fry made us that way, but we were just mature guys. When I think back, then we didn't do a lot of things. We practiced differently. We just wanted something. It's hard to pinpoint why we were that good. I know people like to put it on this person or that person. We had a good defense. Defense fed off the offense. Offense fed off the defense. If they get a takeaway, that was a chance for us to put it in the end zone, right? So they were getting a lot of takeaways. And then when they get a takeaway, we was taking it down and put it in the end zone to say thank you to the defense. So it just inspired both sides of the ball to say, oh, the defense felt if we get a takeaway, they can get it in. So they wanted to get it because they knew if they get a takeaway, our offense have a chance to put it in really quick. And then they could actually play their defense any way they want. Because they knew that, hey, the offense is going to score. And then we get to run whatever we want. We can blitz. We can do whatever we want. Because we know what they're going to do because the offense is ahead. We're putting points on the ball and now the defense is just running. They're just having fun. You can see them. They don't even care. That's when the takeaways started. We just had a good team. Both sides of the ball. And then you had the special team. Billy Happel took it back in Minnesota. A punt. I remember that. I remember everything about everybody else, but I can't remember nothing about that. First thing I said to Billy Hammond when I seen him, Billy, do you remember when you took that punt back at Minnesota? The guy kicked it, it rolled on the ground, you went back and picked it up and took it to the house. Nobody tracked you down. Nobody tracked him. It was incredible. He took it to the house. I was like, oh my God. He was like, yeah, because Coach Fry would have yelled at me because I didn't catch it on a fly. And I was so upset. I said, why'd you pick it up? He said, because I didn't want Coach Fry to get mad at me. See, Coach Fry had us. So he goes back and picks it up. I said, you was actually thinking like that? He said, yes. I knew he was going to yell at me. So you didn't catch it on a fly. It's rolling. You run back there to pick it up, knowing that you shouldn't have picked it up. Now, if you don't run it back, he's going to get mad because you picked it up. Now you put us in a real hole. He's like, yep. So I just picked it up. I said, oh my gosh, I got to go. I said, you took it to the house. I was so happy. I was like a little kid. That was the team. Being happy.
Is that the 95-yard one?
Yes.
That's what they tied the other day. Yeah, that record.
95 yards?
You got to be pretty fast to take it back 95 yards.
He's like, they went to a commercial and came back and I was still running, Ronnie. I was like, you.
That's funny.
Everybody's so humble too. That's the funny part, right?
I said, nobody tracked you. He's like, yeah, but I was tired. I said, nobody tracked you, Billy. I didn't see nobody catch you. So I was like, oh my gosh.
I bet Coach Fry didn't yell at him.
Oh,
Maybe in the Monday after the game.
Billy, that's what I'm talking about, man. Oh, yeah. He didn't pick that up and do that. Oh my gosh, he would have got ripped. Y'all know what I mean.
Let's talk about the journey into the NFL.
Okay.
You had a great career at Iowa, and then talk about getting drafted into the NFL.
And pro day.
I don't even know how I got drafted in the first round, to be honest. I didn't have a good pro day. Pro day was throwing some routes out of the backfield or whatever. I'm used to doing that. So I was like, I don't even know what this is. Because the running back, what are we doing? Running against air. So we're doing moves against air. It's like shadow boxing. I was like, what is this? Oh, go run some routes. Okay, I'm used to running routes. All right. That was my pro day. I was like, this is weird. So what, you want me to cut? There's a guy in front of me. Like I'm running through it and make a cut. I'm like, this is stupid. I know you want me to make the cut, so how can I not make the cut? Oh, we're going to try to make it hard. I'm going to go this hand up or this hand up. I'm like, it still won't be. I'm like, okay. I was like, this sounds like fun. Okay, I can do that. It's really easy to do this. Okay, wow. So the combine, I don't know. I don't think I did well at the combine in my mind. So I don't know why I got drafted in the first round. I don't know. Then I went to Buffalo. I was like, oh my gosh, the team I really didn't want to go to. I wanted to go to Frisco, and I would have been happy to go in any other round to get to Frisco. Because what happened is that Bill Walsh, he was the coach, and I went in, I had a meeting with him before the draft, and at that time my brother was playing at Frisco. So I went out there for a meeting, I guess, like you have a physical and all of that. And then I had a meeting with him. He asked me, hey, if we draft you, do you have a problem playing on the same team as your brother? I was like, no, I don't if he stays. So in essence, I was saying, if you're going to cut him, then I don't want to be here. If you're going to cut him for me, then no, I don't want to be here. And that was that. But I didn't get drafted by them. I got drafted in the first round. I wasn't even there to receive the call because, yeah, I'm one of them kind of guys. I really don't care. I wasn't that guy that, oh, I want to tell everybody where I'm going. I want to have the big party. No, no, thank you. I was out in Coralville at my little apartment. I went out to get some donuts. My brother was there. He said, hey, Buffalo called and says, hey, they're going to take you in the first round. I was like, oh, okay. That was that. It was no big party. I wasn't even there. My brother took the call.
You're like, not my colors.
I wanted to go to Frisco, so I always wanted to play for Frisco, so it didn't matter. I love football, but I didn't love it to the point where that was my identity.
Gotcha.
I love the game. Now, don't get me wrong. I love football. To this day, I love football. But football wasn't who I was. I don't even know how to explain that.
You were a football player, but you were other things as well, right? Yeah, that's a hard scenario too, right? I think a lot of people get caught up in that, right? It's like that's their full identity of who they are and how people see them.
Football was never my identity, ever. It wasn't hard for me to not play football. Get drafted to Buffalo, then all the politics starts right then and there. NFL is a different kind of situation. The first thing people need to understand about the NFL, it is a business. It's not for fun. That happened at flag football. When you give the flag back to your guy, you go, great job. That is not the NFL. It's there to make money, period. And if people can understand that, and they will never understand that because NFL is set up for entertainment. It's not set up actually to play the game. And that's why all of these rules are regular. They're changing the game because they need more entertainment. And that's why they came out with turf because they did not like the uniforms getting so dirty that people could not see the numbers. They always want the uniform to look brand new. Always. And people don't understand. It's all for show. You can't have your socks down. You can't do this. Jersey got to be in. It's all for the NFL. It's a business. So if you understand that, then you can go play because you know it's a business and you're doing your job. And that's not to say that you can't love it. It's hard to love it when there's so much politics involved. But again, I was trained really well at playing receiver for 2 years. I knew you play the game of football and you leave everything else outside of it. That was the pro career. That's how I thought about the pro career. People say, how'd you play so long? I don't know. I got lucky. Right team, coaching staff. Okay. You got to have some skills because you're going to say, well, you can't do that unless I get that part. Okay, yeah. Being able to catch the ball out of the backfield, that was my niche in the NFL because not a lot of people were doing it. And to this day, a lot of people still don't do it. And not catch the ball out of the backfield, but actually catch the ball down the field. And down the field means not just running a swing route or a screen, which most of these guys do now. You never see guys do routes down the field. I don't know why, but they don't. They do screens or check downs, but they don't run routes. Like they won't run a seam route or a corner route or anything downfield like receivers. They run this way most of the time, but they never go this way. And being a receiver in college, I was able to get down the field because you got to be able to read the defense once you run it downfield because you will get your head knocked off. If you're not really good at going and reading safeties, they will knock your head off. I don't like getting my head knocked off, so I was like, oh, don't worry about me. I know the zones. I've never seen in highlights that the running backs go down the field across the middle like they used to back in the day. We had a lot of running backs that could get down the field and hit the seam between two safeties, cover two. Now there's not a lot of running backs that do that. So that was my niche. It's like you got typecast into that situation. I never was able to run the ball after that because they wanted me to go down the field, and they didn't have nobody that could get down the field and read the coverage. With saying the quarterback likes the way you running around. So now he's used to throwing it to you because you're running the routes like a receiver. Quarterbacks hate that when running backs run routes differently than a receiver because they always throw it to receivers. So they need them to be as precise as the receivers are. I can run slants and hitches. I can run the whole wide receiver tree. So that's why they would split me out or put me in the slot because a lot of receivers don't like going across the middle either, under the linebackers. Being a running back, I'm used to getting hit by linebackers, so it didn't bother me to go attack a linebacker underneath. That was never a problem for me. So again, yes, receiver helped me in Iowa to do this stuff. I give credit where credit's due. So yes, all of that stuff that I talked about I didn't like was an asset in the pros.
You're right. That's is unusual. Yeah, you don't see that at all.
I think the guys that we talked to that played a long time in the pros figured out the really small things. They were the things that were like the really small nuance. So that's probably part of what you did as well, right? If you were able to read defenses that well as a running back, then you had a leg up of knowing where to go, where to stay out of trouble, like all that stuff for sure.
Receiver helped me out a lot because the ability to be 5 yards in the backfield and get down the middle between the two safeties within the 3-second time that I had the clock in my head. I had to get past the linebackers' depth fast enough where the quarterback, remember I tell you about the 3 seconds that
Yeah.
you gotta have this clock in your head that makes him comfortable that he's not rushing. Because if he's rushed, he's going to throw you into something because he's trying to get it out now. But if you get there timed up and he's in his drop and he's on a time schedule himself and he's feeling comfortable, he's going to put it right. Most quarterbacks in the NFL are going to put it right there. If you're precise enough, he will put it right there. 95% of the time, he will put it right there. I don't care. Pro quarterback, any quarterback in the league, 95% of the time, he can put it right there if he's comfortable. It's the good quarterbacks that are really good. They can throw anytime. It don't matter if they're uncomfortable or not. That's the all pro quarterbacks. That it doesn't bother them. They are comfortable no matter what. You could be right in their face. It doesn't matter. They're just what they do. Those are the top quarterbacks. Steve Young, Kelly, all of them are comfortable. They feel the pressure, but it doesn't bother them. That's what makes them a great quarterback. And they're going to put it right there whether you're in their face or not. It don't matter. So my thing, I figured out that, okay, these quarterbacks, they can put it there. So all I had to do was be there at the right spot all the time, no matter what. Just be at that spot. That's all I did. I said, I'm going to be at that spot no matter what. I'm going to make it to that spot. In the league, they throw it to the spot. They're actually throwing it to the guy. Like the corner route is made, it depends on where you are on the field. The closer you get, the further you got to go down into the corner. The farther away from the end zone, the more you got to go to the near corner. But being a receiver, I know that. I know. Here comes the Iowa thing again. I knew the difference of depth in a route, and I could adjust it depending on where we are on the field, just because I played receiver. So I knew where to go. I knew how the angles were. So that's why they never let me run the ball, because I could figure out angles on the run. I knew just the angles where to go. And that's why they threw to me. And that's why I hated it, because I could stop myself from not doing it. One time I did. Just one time, I remember at Buffalo. Here, I just came out of Iowa. I finally got to play running back. Here they go again. They want to throw me the ball. I'm like, oh my gosh, do I really got to do this again? So I'm out there playing, and gosh, I hate this. They're just throwing me the ball again. I'm right back to where I started. I cannot get away. It's killing me. I said, oh, I don't want to do this. What are we doing? So then Buffalo did put me on the routes, and I'm running all of these routes, and I'm like hating it, right? I am so hating this. I'm like, I hate this. So I can't stop myself from not catching it, right? I'm like, they throw me the ball. I can't wait for them to throw me the ball because I'm going to take this. I'm going to be a running back after I catch it. One day, one game, I'm so hating this. The ball is thrown to me, right? It hits me right in the chest. Pow! It falls out. I come off the field. My coach walks up to me, Elijah Pitts. He walks over to me and says, "Hey, don't do that again." He knew that I intentionally dropped this ball because I did not want to be there. He just leaned into me, "Please don't do that again." I was like, "Okay, coach." He's the only one that saw it.
Wow.
They thought I dropped it. He knew I dropped it on purpose. Really? Because I never dropped in practice. So he was like, "No." So I was like, "Okay, I won't do that no more." He's like, "Don't do that." He just said it just like that. "Don't do that." All right. Thank you. Catch the ball. I was
Wow.
like, "Okay. All right, coach. I don't do that no more." That was my story. So I said, "All right, this is how it's going to be." But I just got caught in this game of being stereotyped because of Snyder and the Iowa thing. But it helped. Yes, it did. It did help. I didn't get a lot of balls thrown to me. I just didn't drop the balls that weren't thrown to me. I would figure out how many balls I need to catch for the whole season. For the pros, you only going to get so many passes because the receivers want the ball all the time. They are complaining in the huddle. "Throw the ball to me. Why are you not throwing it my way?" They are at it with the quarterbacks. They're like the prima donnas, like the little dogs. They are out there yapping. They want the ball. Trust me, they do. They want it all the time. If you could throw it to them 100 times a game, it still wouldn't be enough for them. They want the ball every single play. "We're running too much. Throw the ball." They do nothing the whole game. They don't block. So they are not tired, not beat up. So they talk the whole game. They want the ball. I knew that I might only get 2 or 3 passes a game, but I knew I would only get 2 or 3. That was it. So 2 or 3 times 16 is like 50 something catches. So I could not drop. That's the point. Now I'm going into game knowing that I may only get 2 or 3 balls a game. That's right. In an NFL game, you might only get 3 shots out of the whole game. You can't mess around. If you're not at the right spot, the right time, you ain't getting it. So now I'm back to I gotta be precise. I gotta be where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there and do it every single time because you never know when they're gonna throw it to you. You might get 5 if you're really lucky that day. That was a good day. You got 5 throws your way, you can't drop because they'll never throw it to you again. Never. So I said, "Oh, okay." I did the math. Dude, that's how I played the game. Because I didn't start. So I knew I only had so many situations that was going to be put in. And you might only get 2 or 3 out of that. So yeah, you had to think critically about you better not drop ever. Because you may not get it again. That's one. If you only get 3, you just messed up 1. You only got 2 more shots out of the whole game. Can you believe that? An NFL game, you might get 3 passes for the whole entire game. This is serious. This is not a joke.
Were they only bringing you in third down? It
See?
was
That's
only
it.
third down. Okay, that's 2. Yeah.
So out of third down, right. Third down. Out of that, you might only get 2 or 3. And how many third downs do we have? Not a lot. So you might not get none that game. That was stressful. Stressful to the point that you just wanted to play. The only way I thought about it was, okay, I've always got to get myself open. Now, whether they throw it to me or not, I can't do nothing about that. But when you come in on Monday and you watch the film, you're like, "Oh, he was open. Oh, he was open." The film is not lying. It's like, "Yo, he's open. Why did you throw it to him? He was open." So I knew that you don't mess around because the film won't lie. They will say to the quarterback, "You need to start throwing it that way. He's open. Why are you not throwing it that way?" That's how I thought about the leagues. You got to be precise because there's only one ball and everybody wants it. And I was on a running team at that. San Diego was a running team. So we're running the ball like 85% of the time. So now you really not getting it. Like you said, I only came in on third down. There we go again. See, so that was my life of shortness. What a weird career. I don't even know what to say about it.
So let me get this right. The only time you got to really play the full position all year round, the team was ranked #1 and had the best team of all time. Maybe
Yeah.
teams should have realized if we put him on the field more and play him, maybe we'd have a better team.
No, people said that, but they didn't understand how I could come in on third down. Everybody knows that they're going to throw it to you and get open. And then I started getting double teamed. So the good thing for me, I had a guy, and this is another thing about having older guys around, Charlie Joyner, who used to play. He played at San Diego. He was a receiver coach at the time I was there. So when I started getting double teamed, I went over to say, how do you beat a double team? And he explained to me how you beat double teams. So it didn't matter if you double team me, I knew how to beat the double team. Because Charlie Jordan taught me how to do it. That's older guys talking to younger guys. He was not my coach. He wasn't a running back. So I never played receiver. Everybody think I played receiver in the NFL. I never played receiver. They just never let me run the ball. I was always a running back. I practiced with the running backs. I picked up linebackers. I was a running back. But they said, hey, no, we're going to throw the ball to you, dude. No, we don't need you to run the ball. So now I'm able to understand the NFL game and play at a different kind of level of what the quarterback wants. I was doing what the quarterback wants, not what I wanted. I was going to be with a quarterback. I used to conversate with the quarterback to say, where do you want me? What's the easiest throw for you in this position? Where would you want me at? And then they would tell me. And that's what I would do. And I would make the route convenient for them. I didn't run the route for me. I ran the route for the quarterback. I was always in conversation with the quarterback about where do you want me? How far do you want me? At what angle do you want to throw it at? Where's the angle that you want me to be at? Do you want me coming straight across or do you want me going straight up the field? This was a conversation with the quarterback that I had, and that's what I would do. And I wouldn't stray from that. He would tell me what he wants, and that's what I would do. And that's why I got most of my throws from, because he decided where he wanted me to be. And I listened to him. That didn't matter to me where I was. So, yeah, that was it. I was a team-oriented kind of guy.
Making them
Especially-
look good.
That's why I played 12 years. Interesting. Who was the main running back at that time in the Chargers?
We had Marion Butts and Natron Means. Those are the two guys that played when I was there. I left Buffalo. That's when Thurman came in. I left Buffalo in
It's your last year, it looks like.
Yeah. And that's when they went to the All-A Super Bowl after that. I started doing that third down situation in Buffalo. That's when it all began. Because we started running 2-minute offense a lot in Buffalo. That was our offense. We would run up and down the field in 2 minutes. We'd just come out and go in 2 minutes. Because that's what Jim Kelly liked. He liked the 2 minutes. Because he could just get out there and just start throwing it.
Yeah.
Everything was up at the line. He called all the plays up at the line. We never huddled. And that's when it started switching over to, because that's when we started scoring a lot of points. So, yeah, that was, and we had a good offensive coordinator named Ted Marchabrota. He was a good offensive coordinator. He was old school. So I learned a lot from him, too, about the NFL game, about how to run the routes in the NFL game. So I learned from him a lot. I don't know how he taught it, but he used to just say to me, go in and not. Go in and not, that's all. And find the window of the quarterback. If you can't see him, he can't see you, you're never going to get the ball thrown to you. So if I could see him, so I knew how to adjust myself into the different windows. I knew I had a chance to get the ball. I don't know if they're teaching that because they don't go down the field. They do all screens, so he knows where you're at on the sides. But when you're running downfield, you have to be in that window where he can see you. So you need to know that angle. You got to be able to see him going down the field. Yes, that's Iowa receiver.
Oh, it comes back to Iowa. That's awesome. Did you say earlier you went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah. San Diego played Frisco. That's when Steve Young had his first Super Bowl.
Got it. How crazy was that?
It was a Super Bowl. I don't know. It's entertainment. You don't enjoy the festivities because you're not even involved in none of that. So you don't see all the things that you see on television. You don't see none of that.
I guess looking at it from an outsider who semi knows football, the routine would be different, right? You've got these other side things you've got to do. You got to have media days, 2 weeks. All that's probably crazy, right? Trying to figure that out. And then probably just the hype when you start the game, right? Like that first 5 minutes, everybody's just so jacked up. And then they settle down and then get into the game, right?
Yeah, it would be. Because the NFL controls the whole, I don't know how long we're down there, week and a half? You go where the NFL tells you to go. You have no control over the practice schedule, no nothing. That's why they stay back as long as they can back home before they travel. They don't go out there 2 weeks before because they know the NFL controls it. Once you get on that plane, it's the NFL's game. It's all about the NFL. That's why we don't travel until the latest possible time. They make you come out the week before because it's the NFL. They are publicizing it. This is it. They're making their money. This is the business. We control it. We tell you where to go, what to do, everything. It's not for the teams, it's for the NFL. Media days for the NFL, it ain't for the teams. Just think of everything for the NFL. Everything. And I mean everything. NFL. It's their game. It's their business. They're not going out of business. No time soon.
Doesn't feel like it.
They got 3 days of the week. Monday, Thursday, and Sunday.
Europe's still holding out though. Right? They're still like, I don't care about this shit.
Yeah.
They've been trying that for 20 years, haven't they? Trying to get someone else to watch it? Yeah.
Yeah. NFL was good.
Do you get nervous before games? How did you feel right before the game, college and pro?
In college, we used to have to do a test. Go through the same thing?
Yep. Oh, we didn't get grilled
Like
on that, but the other
pregame?
players did. Absolutely.
The coaches would stand up and ask questions
Yep.
to their players. I hated it. That was the most nerve-wracking ever. I went up to the coach and said, I can't do this. Please do not ask me questions. I can't do it. I'm not going to get it. That was the worst for me. All I thought about was after we had breakfast, there was going to be this question and answer period in front of everybody. I couldn't take that. I was always stressed. It was like taking the SAT every single weekend. I hated that. I had to go to the coach and say, I can't do this. I'm not going to get it right because I'm so stressed out. I'm going to forget. I can't remember it. I'm walking over to get breakfast. And that's all I'm thinking. I'm not even thinking about the game. I'm thinking about, I don't want to embarrass myself in front of everybody and get the wrong answer. I said, I can't do it. I asked Coach, could you please don't ask me so. I was so nervous. I couldn't do it. I was cracking. I can practice it all, but as soon as you ask me, I'd be like, I don't know, Coach. I don't know. And he would get so upset a couple of times. I said, listen, I can't do it. If you ask me, I'm not going to know. I just said, forget it. I'm not going to know. So they stopped asking me questions because I would just say, forget it. I don't know. I wouldn't even try because I couldn't remember. I was so stressed about getting it right. As soon as I walked into that building, it was just like a blank. That was the worst. I never thought about the game because I had to think about this answering questions, testing in the morning. Never thought about the game because I couldn't get past that. And the pros, thank God we didn't do that. They didn't care. Because if you messed up, we were going to cut you. So they didn't care if they asked you a question. I don't care if you answered the question. I want to see you do it in the field. Yeah, that was stressful. So no, I never got, because I played on third down. By the time the game was going, I didn't start off. I played on third down. The game was already in. No, I never got nervous at the NFL games. I never got nervous. It felt like I was being wasted. I'm only coming on third down. I was like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of Iowa. I dealt with it better than I dealt with Iowa. I just said, forget it. No, I never got nervous.
Third down's a mess anyway. It's like third down and long. You're like,
Third down.
third and long, you're just like, nothing's really going to work. It
Right.
seems that way, at least, right?
Yeah. That was the bad part is, yeah, for some reason I can do third downs. But you only get 2 or 3 shots. Not to say they're coming your way. One year I got 79 catches, only coming in on third down. That means I didn't drop because I put up the numbers. I added up the numbers like, okay, you can't drop. If you want to get to this number, you can't have no drops. So I don't care what it was, screen, down the field, you cannot drop. That was a numbers game.
70-something is a lot for a third down, for sure.
Yeah. And I'm not a starter. So even on first down, you can throw screens to your starting running back.
Sure. Out of all the people you played either with or against, who stood out as just like a next level athlete where you were just like, wow, that is just a different level than everyone else?
Marcus Allen.
Okay.
I like Marcus Allen. And not only that, he was a good player, he was a good guy. So he wasn't, he was Marcus Allen. It goes back to what kind of person you are. And he was that kind of person. He was a good guy. I always liked Marcus. He played hard. And he was bigger than what most people thought he was. He was like 6'3", 220.
Wow.
In person, he's big. I was like, oh my. And he could catch and do all of this stuff.
He had a specific running style too, didn't he?
You never hit him head on.
I was going to say, yeah, he never got hit head on because he was at Kansas City when I was at camp there. And it was just like, yeah, he was so smooth. He was just like, yeah, just like he was gliding along. I was like, is anyone going to touch this guy? Yeah.
And he was that big. So you never got a full shot on him ever. I came in on third down, so they always had a DB on me. I don't know. It would be hard for me to say on defense because I never went against a linebacker. I didn't run the ball. Oh, it would be Steve Atwater and Dennis Smith, the 2 safeties for Denver. Both of them were like 6'3", 6'4", playing safeties.
Steve Atwater, I remember. He was a house. Yeah, he was. That guy could bring the wood.
Yeah. Those 2 guys I was always concerned about because, dude, if you messed up with them, it's not a good day. They will take full advantage of your mess up. But I can't tell you about defense. Those are only 2 guys I remember because we played them twice all the time. I always used to watch. We played Oakland twice too, so that's why I got to see Marcus a lot. And then when he went to Kansas City, we played him twice again. So he never really left the conference. He was still an FC guy in the same conference. So I saw him all the time, Kansas City and Oakland. That was fabulous. They even got his autograph on the ball. They used to look at me crazy because I come up, can you sign my autograph? Can you sign my ball for me? They look at me like, you're a weird guy. Don't you got on a uniform like me? Didn't we just play you? I was like, yeah, I know. But can I have your autograph? The only one that didn't want to give me their autograph, I thought, was Joe Montana. I went into the locker room and asked for his autograph. He looked at me shady.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
And we was just out on the field. I'm like, wow, okay. He did not want to give me his autograph. That's my opinion. He might see it differently.
You played with my brother. Come on. I just want an autograph. Yeah.
Yeah. I always wanted to get guys autograph. I was that kind of guy, like, yo, we can play, but after the game, I'm running over there. Hey, can I get your autograph? And some guys thought I was messing around with them, so they didn't really want to give it to me. They thought I was trying to be funny, but I was dead serious. I wanted your autograph. So I was still a fan, even though I played. I was a fan of a lot of guys, and people thought that was strange. I just was a fan.
Growing up in New York, did you have a team or did you have some players you liked before you got into college and the pros?
Yes, I like Pittsburgh. And I like Franco Harris and just that whole Pittsburgh squad. I like mostly all the running backs. I remember liking O.J. Simpson. And then I saw him at Buffalo, and I actually didn't want to have nothing to do with him. He called me over, and I was like, no, I don't want to talk to him. I don't know why, but I never wanted to talk to him. Walter Payton, I was scared to get his autograph. And I wanted to get it so bad, but I was so scared to go over there. And that's when I was playing with Chicago. he was such a nice guy, but I couldn't get it out my mouth. And the guy that was on the team with me, he used to tease me about it because he was like, yeah, dude, I don't know what's the matter with you. All you have to do is go over there and ask him. I didn't want him to think I was crazy. He was like, he was on Chicago Bears team. But then again, I was up in my head again. And I messed up. I should have got it on again. There was a lot of people like that. I would just talk myself right on out of it because I still was a fan. Even though I played, I was just a fan. I just loved football that much. The game was different to me. And that's why I never really talked about it because it was just a different thing for me.
When I was with the Jets, we played the Bears in preseason.
Jets.
And
Jets, Jets.
yeah, the 350-pound guy that's got the 300-pound guy on his shoulders, the fireman guy. I was like, that's impressive.
Fireman John.
Fireman John. And
You know,
so
New York side know this stuff.
that's awesome. So I'm sitting in the locker and I look over and I see this head pop into the door and I was like, that person looks really familiar. And finally I figured out, I was like, oh shit, that's Walter Payton. The best part of the story is all the guys on the Jets team were giving him a hard time about the kangaroo shoes that he used to endorse. They're like, dude, what was up with the ruse? It was like the little zip pocket on the side. You put your change in. I thought that was funny. I was looking, I'm like pinching myself. I'm like, wait, I'm sitting here. This is Walter Payton. They're making fun of him. I'm just like, where am I at right now? This is amazing. Huge fan. I was like, there was very few people. I was like, wow. And I was like, holy shit, that is the sweetness in the flesh. That was crazy.
I was just taking advantage of being on the same field as these guys and appreciate the fact of not getting so caught up in the game, but trying to just enjoy the game. And sometimes we get caught up in the game and forget that it's a game, but it's a business. So in order to stay in this business, you got to do really well at the game. So there's your catch-22. So can you really enjoy the game to the extent that it's not a business? No, you can't. It's really hard because you're always focusing on what are you doing to stay in the game. It's about me because it's a business. They will cut you. They're not cutting the team. They're cutting you.
Yeah.
So where do you find that medium to enjoy it, but understand that you better do your job or you are not going to be here. And that takes some of the fun out of the game. So I really don't know how I played 12 years. I really don't because, yeah, I really don't. Not at that position. Not at that kind of limited time that I played on the field. We didn't just coming in on third down. And people say you didn't beat up your body. It wasn't about beating up your body. It's about producing. Dude, NFL is just a different game. Thank you, Snyder. Go back to Iowa. 2 years at wide receiver.
I think there's a different mindset too when you get paid. That was a hard thing for me to get around, I think, when it was kind of like, oh, wait, you're used to do this for fun. And I guess you got paid in college with a scholarship, but once it's your job, then it's different, right? If I don't do this, I got to go make money somewhere else. Yeah. And it was a lot of money too. I was like, holy shit, do I deserve that kind of money? Even for me, it was minimum wage, but it was still like, holy cows, that's a ton of money.
It's a business. You get paid for your services until they don't want your service anymore. And then that's it. That is the life of the NFL. I never talk about NFL to anybody. Most people don't even know I played. I don't say anything ever. And sometimes people find out. I don't know how they do it. They say some things to me and I go, I don't respond because if I respond, then it means it might be true. So I keep that same face. I have no idea what you're talking about. You play? I'm like, no, I played what? Now I'm probing. If you're probing, I'm probing. You got to give me some hard facts for me to say, oh, yeah, okay, you got me. But if you're not giving me hard facts, it's a back and forth like tennis. No, I have no idea what you're talking about. What? No. Once in a while, a person will just beat me up with a fact. I say, you got me. I just look at her like, oh, you got me, dude. Okay, yeah, you got me. Some people, they just beat you up. I go, oh my gosh, you really? What? Then I just submit. If you beat me up, I'll submit.
Do we beat
That's
him up?
hilarious.
I'm like, oh, Noel, we got to get him on there.
She beat me up. Hey, I'm glad we did this, guys. I say no a lot because that's just a New York in me to say, no, I'm good. We don't know why we say it. We just said, we're good. I'm glad we did this. I'm glad you came over, introduce yourself. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me to do this. It means that there is a slight change going on, and you guys are starting it out and being part of your team as a teammate. It was important for me to really think about it and not say no and support your teammates. That's what I thought about, because I was saying no all the time. But in order for the change to happen, we got to be part of the change. And I always complain about it's not happening. So I can't complain about it's not happening if I'm not going to be part of the solution. I thank you guys for starting it off. I really do, because it's not easy to start anything off. You don't know how it's going to go. You guys are putting it down, and I appreciate that. I want to say thank you. Y'all deserve everything that y'all are getting. That's what made me say, nah, Ronnie, these guys are doing some real good work, and they deserve everybody's input to help them get to where they want to go. Thank you again for doing this. I appreciate it.
We really appreciate you coming on. I know it's not always easy to go back to some of these things, and we've struggled with some of our own stuff with this, trying to figure it out, trying to understand all this stuff. So yeah, we really appreciate it. I guess we're thankful that you trust us enough to tell your story. As teammates, we're honored to have you as a teammate. It's great. You're a great Hawk. We really appreciate it.
We're all good Hawks. That's why we're all here. And we're all going to hopefully support each other and further your dreams. You guys came up with it. Now I'm just being part of your dream. Not the bad part, when you got to wake up and go downstairs and get something to drink.
We've had conversations on that.
Right?
We've had our failure dreams. We forgot our shoes.
You're like, oh my God.
Help, where's my helmet?
I was trying to get out of that dream, and I couldn't wake up. You ever had those dreams? Just trying to get out of it, and you just can't seem to wake up. You're like, oh my gosh, this dream needs to stop. You wake up, go downstairs, get something to drink. Like, oh my God, what's that about? I'm happy for you guys. I just hope it goes exactly where y'all want it to go. And I can say, I knew you guys win.
You've been waiting a while for that.
I'll be searching y'all out to get your autograph. Find you. You're like, yo, can I get your autograph? And so don't look at me crazy when I ask you that.
I don't know if you got the wrong person.
Nah,
How much facts you got?
Come on now, give it up.
We're all pretty good at deflecting. Getting
humble,
each other
yeah.
is pretty difficult.
Everyone's so humble. Really talented people that have done some wonderful things. They're so humble.
Yeah,
Great.
Thanks, Ronnie. Appreciate it. I think people are really happy to see you last weekend and come back. It's great having you on, and it's really cool to get to hear your mind and the way you approach things. So thanks for your time.
Here's the backstory. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.